This is the Ordained Educator podcast, and I'm your host, Brigitte Jackson. For almost 3 decades, I have lived and loved doing one of the greatest passions on earth, educating. I'm an ordained educator. If you're listening to this podcast, you were destined to do what you're doing too. You were ordained to impact others. Thank you for joining us today. Ordained educators, we have with us today a phenomenal guest, Dr. Jason McGhee. So one of the stats is that about 66% of teachers feel like giving up, throwing in the towel. And so that's one of the reasons why we started Ordained Educator, the podcast, because we didn't want people to throw in the towel. We're needed. And especially right now during COVID, we especially need educators. Great. I want you to put your administrator shoes on. And can you share with us some advice for administrators right now to keep their staff finishing strong?
All right. No, this is perfect because I do a lot of work in this area, especially with administrators. And I just think right now the encouragement piece for administrators. Oh, there's so much. I would say, number one, you have to get off that island, right? A lot of us right now are probably in virtual situations or hybrid situations, or you might be back full time, and you are forced to make a lot of decisions right now, right? You're making a lot of decisions, and oftentimes we find ourselves on this island by ourselves because no one really knows what the principal job is like. They know it from their perspective outside, but nobody knows what it's like to sit in the seat. And when we're in that seat, oftentimes we have to be confidential in a lot of situations when it comes with staff and parents and teachers. So we don't really have that outlet, and we feel like we're always on this island by ourselves and we're alone. But watch this. Latch on to the other principals in your district. You are not by yourself, right? So find a way to connect with other administrators. I'm not talking assistant principals, they help. That's a great help. But find other principals that can identify with what you're going through. And that way you can create this dialogue so you don't feel like, oh, it's just me. It's just me and I'm the only one going through this. No, nope. That's one thing that I would say to administrators. Um, Another thing I would say is listen, get yourself a thought partner. That's the AP, right? Get yourself a thought partner,
Okay.
right? If you don't have a thought partner, get yourself a therapist. If you can't get a therapist, get yourself a coach,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Get yourself somebody that's going to help you navigate all these thoughts that are happening as you're making your 615 decisions every single day,
Yes.
right? And then make sure you find a way to latch on to care.
Yes.
Caring for yourself and caring for the others that you serve. You have to care. And what happens when you start to care and live in that care, it's going to bring about an energy that's going to sustain you through all this madness, all the confusion, all the noise, because you're tied back into your care, which is tied into your why. So I can go on and on, but for my administrative friends out there, my administrative colleagues out there, those are just three quick ones that I'm like, listen,
Advice.
do those.
So, what would you say to the teachers? What's some advice that you can give to teachers? Because we need them. We don't want them burning out, and we don't want them quitting.
Oh, I gotta use this one. It's like Maslow's before Bloom. Make sure you are taking care of the needs of your kids, right? Yes, we have assessments, we have all this stuff. Listen,
Yes.
the kids definitely they need our teachers to be in a position of caring and taking care of those needs. So make sure you're the care piece enough. So again, tap into what was your why. I would say to a teacher right now, go back to when you were in school and you had your teaching philosophy and you wrote this beautifully written, specially crafted teaching philosophy, and you were telling the whole world, the whole educational department, why you want to go into teaching, and everything lives there.
Yes.
Go back to it, find it. So figure out what that why is and put it up. Put it up so you can see it when you come into your classroom. Put it in the background of your phone so you see it on your phone. Stay connected to your why, because most of us that go into education, we know what we're doing. We know we're not going to make $2 trillion, right? We know that this is our calling. If you forget that, go back to that philosophy, go back to your why. Put it up, though. This is the part where we got to take it up. Put it somewhere where they can see, where you can see it every single day, or even put up a mirror so you can see yourself and
Mm-hmm.
remember who you be in a position of caring and taking care of those needs. So I would give that to teachers right now and say, listen, you got to get that anchor, hold on to your foundation, because guess what? The wind is blowing, the hurricanes are coming, the wildfires are happening, the kids are remote, the parents are, all these things are happening. The pandemic is happening. We're going through a presidential election right now. You got to stay firm in what you believe in and what you established as your why, your reason.
Oh, those are some good nuggets. If I can interject, drill down a little bit more about when people are dealing with fatigue or they're dealing with mental anguish, what kinds of things can they do to combat that at a time like this?
I just think that you have to be super, super reflective, right? You have to be willing to go within,
Okay.
um, because you probably already have the answers. You just don't realize that you have them, right? So I think a strategy going within has a lot to do with knowing yourself, right? So knowing who you are, right? So I have this thing where I do this with my staff, I do this with my team, I do this with if the parents give me enough time, I'll give it to them too. And I'll talk first of all, always believe that there's a way, right? You are a leader. Go within yourself, ask yourself these four questions. Four questions. Who are you? Why are you here? Where am I going? And what am I doing?